Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina, and today I got some bad news. I got doing this tire job in one of my other videos, and well, one of the studs broke off when I was taking it apart. You know, we get a lot of salt on the roads up here, so I guess rust got in there and just got kind of welded to itself. Not unusual. Anyway, I got to replace that before I can put these wheels back on. This is a Honda Civic. This process is pretty much the same for most cars with drum brakes. For disc brakes, it's a little different, and I'm sure there'll be a time when I'll show you how to do that as well. But the first thing we're going to have to do, and I'll go over to the table and show you the tools we're going to need, is we're going to remove this brake drum. And I'll show you the tools, and then we'll come over here and do that. So what we have here is pretty much all the tools we're going to need to do. So we've got a new stud, and we've got a new lug nut, and we've got this wheel stud installer. Now, if you don't have this, you can use a large nut, one that's going to fit over the collar of the stud and kind of sit on these bevels. It's not ideal, but it does work. I used it for many years before moving on. In order to remove the rear drum, you're going to need maybe a love tap or two, and or if it doesn't come loose, you'll need a couple of little short 13mm bolts. We'll use that to pop the drum loose and get access to everything. And a little bit of lube to help everything go together. So that's all we're going to need. If you did want to buy this and do it the right way, that was like 16 bucks. I don't think that was all that much. And I've used it maybe half a dozen times. I've probably used the nut method maybe several hundred times, so not a big deal. Let's go back over to the car. I will pull the rotor or the drum off and we'll get started. Alright, so there's our broken stud. Now, you can take a hammer and kind of hit around the face here, and that'll loosen it up. This one's got some rust built up around the hub face here, so it's still sticking. You'll notice there's a hole here and a hole here, and they are threaded, and they are threaded for a reason. You actually thread in some bolts here, and you can, by applying even pressure to both sides, you can remove these. Usually they'll pop loose if they're sticking. Just a little bit each time. Oh, until it pops loose. And that's it. That exposes the hub, or the spindle. There we go. So, the next step here, we're going to use a little bit of excessive force. There is our broken stud. I'm going to take a hammer and whack on that and push it out. It should pop back out in there. Might have to fish it out, but that won't take but a second. All right, I've got a sledgehammer, but you certainly don't need one. Any household hammer will do the job here. That's it. It pops out to the back there, and we slide that out. And what you see here is that the stud is splined. There's very small splines right here, and that's what holds it into the spindle itself. So go ahead and toss that one, and we'll be ready to put our new one on. Well, I've got this off. Good time to take a look at your brake shoes. These look fine on this one. A little bit of wear on the fronts, but no leaks, no major rust issues. Everything's looking good, and that's kind of unusual. So we'll go ahead and grab the new stud. Okay, so here's my new stud, right? And you're going to make sure that it works with the lug nut you bought, because I'll be honest with you, sometimes they'll sell you the wrong one. There might be multiple choices. And you have to slide that thing back in there. This could be a bit tricky. Try to slide it in, work itself out. There we go. Now we've got it there. Now I will do is take a little bit of oil or a little bit of lube here and put it there. I'm also going to put some on the threads. Normally you don't lubricate threads for lug nuts, but in this case we want this thing to slide in here a little easier, so we are going to lube it a little bit. Not crazy amount, just a little squirt, right? Just to help it come in lock into place. The next step is to use, if you're going to use a giant nut, you're going to take that nut and slide it over this. In this case, I've got the actual tool. I'm going to lay that on there. Then I'm going to put this on, tighten it down finger tight, and it'll be time to hit that with the impact gun. Be mindful when you're doing this that as you tighten it down, you don't want to overstress it. You're just trying to pull that splined area back into position, okay? So you're not trying to overdo it. You'll break your new one just as easily as you broke the last. Impact gun, tighten it down. Normally you would use an impact socket. I don't have one at the house right now, so we're going with what we got. That's it. You can reach back there and take a look back there, and it's nice and tight. Pull it out. You can see that the stud has come through. They're at the same depth. It's that simple, everybody. So that's it. I'm ready to put this thing back together again. Hope you got some value out of this. If you've ever wondered about a broken stud and how hard or how easy it is to replace, well, now you know. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule. As always, there are some models that are very difficult to remove the stud and put a new stud back in there. Those sometimes have to have the spindle pressed in and out of the hub bearing. Luckily for me, this was not the case with this one. A $16 tool and $4 worth of stud and lug nut, and I'm back on the road. If I hadn't had that, I could have just used a large lug nut. So, hope you got some information out of this video, I'll see you next time. Take care.
There's always something that needs a little fixing on Farpoint Farms. Freedom is mighty sweet. Liberty sows its seed at Farpoint.